The triomes and ecology of Ikoria are unlike any we've seen throughout the multiverse, a true force of evolutionary complexity that has bred some of the most unique monsters in Magic the Gathering. Despite the limitless paths of mutations and adaptations one can experience on Ikoria, sometimes the best forms are the most simple. Tried and tested formulas that have found success on nearly every plane, with Ikoria being no exception. This is the efficient design of the classic beast, and today we'll examine how this traditional form of monster has adapted to the landscape of Zagoth on Ikoria, in our latest chapter of the origins of Ikoria, Ecology of Monsters. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Aether Hub. I'm Simon, bringing you more Magic the Gathering lore. As we started on this series on the ecological breakdown of Ikoria's monsters and their environments, we had a lot of fun and flashy examples of how this plane can push evolution to its conceivable limits. However, there is a truth behind the simplest solution being the best solution, and that's why we see just plain beasts appear in Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths. Beast is a creature type as old as Magic the Gathering itself, one that appears on nearly every plane we've visited, and I'd bet would appear on every single plane with an environment suitable for natural life. So with a species so common throughout the multiverse, how do they differ on a world like Ikoria? Well, they may have a simple foundation, but what they turned into on this unique world is truly awe-inspiring. On Ikoria, most beasts can be found in the fertile marshlands and rainforests of Zagoth. This calm and tranquil expanse of flooded wetlands and thick forests is some of Ikoria's densest regions of flora and fauna. Truly, the most diverse selection of plant life can be found in Zagoth. With so much variety, Zagoth is home to a vast majority of Ikoria's herbivores, or species who feed solely on plant material for sustenance. While Zagoth does have its predators, the region is defined by its large, stomping herbivores, who routinely shake the forest floors and topple trees, creating a natural maze of downed trees and blocked rivers. This unique environment of swamps, waterways, and forests is what leads Zagoth to be the Sultai wedge of Ikoria, dominated by black, green, and blue mana. Zagoth is marked by its unique flora, namely a giant fungus that grows in the swampy groves that resemble trees. Yes, these are in fact several different species of fungi that grow in a massive colony known as Fanspore groves. The mushrooms here attract insects that release a bioluminescent material as they feed and spread on the fungus spores, giving Zagoth a mysterious glow in the low light, much like the swamps of Indatha. Another curious plant you'll find in this region are the titanic lily pads. They're definitely the largest lily pads you'll ever see in the multiverse, being buoyant enough for several large creatures to stand on them without sinking. They become natural bridges for life to traverse the waters of Zagoth. Beasts of Zagoth are defined by their shaggy appearances. Making their home in the largest rainforest on Ikoria, they've evolved thick hides and fur to help protect them from the elements and barbed thickets they routinely must traverse. Beasts here get big, really big, with their size being another telltale sign of a beast. They're typically also accompanied by tusks, horns, antlers, with hooved feet, all of which go towards helping them plow through, eat, and survive in this jungle environment. While most beasts tend to be large, lumbering behemoths, Zagoth also hosts smaller, more graceful elk, antelope, and horse-like creatures. Beasts in Zagoth are noted as having a mammalian appearance as we would describe them, but make no mistake, these aren't some docile sheep. In Zagoth, beasts must maintain territories necessary to support their size, meaning some could have a truly massive range they call home. Their territory is their survival, and thus most of the largest beasts on Ikoria are very territorial in nature. They will defend their territory with their life, even against bigger opponents, while stomping out even smaller competitors, sometimes literally. Beasts can become highly aggressive at the drop of a hat, especially during mating season or during times of slow growth in their territory. While they may not eat you like other monsters in Ikoria, that doesn't mean you won't be any less dead if you encounter a beast in the wilds of Zagoth. Though dangerous in their own right, beasts are understandably the most preferred quarry for monster hunters on Ikoria. They typically lack wings, poisons, barbs, and a bloodlust found in other monsters, so when going out for a hunt, many choose to enter Zagoth looking for massive beasts. These creatures also offer another incentive for hunters, that being their horns and antlers, which make for prized trophies and whose value on the market is increased by the danger the species poses to the hunter. For example, a successful hunt of a large beast could possibly fill a hunting party's entire group with food and drink for an entire year. Undoubtedly the most successful hunter of Zagoth and its great beasts is Cheville, Bane of Monsters, a 1/3 legendary human rogue for 1 black and 1 green mana. It has Death Touch, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponent controls no permanents with bounty counters on them, put a bounty counter on a target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls with a bounty counter on it dies, you gain 3 life and draw a card. His card really represents what Cheville, Bane of Monsters is all about, hunting down dangerous beasts and claiming rewards for their demise. Unlike human sanctuaries who protect themselves from predatory monsters, hunters like Cheville make a career killing these beasts for sport. Cheville has become so successful in Zagoth because he can almost perfectly mimic the various calls of several beast species to aid in springing ambushes, a tactic that has earned him the ire of the planeswalker Vivian Reed, who thoroughly despises the hunter. Some big game beasts of this region include Bristling Boars, a 4/2 for 3 generic and 1 green. It can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. The Mosscoat Juriak, a stubborn 2/4 beast with vigilance. Auspicious Starix, a 6/6 elk beast for 4 generic and 1 green with Mutate for 5 generic and 1 green. Whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times this creature has mutated. Put those permanent cards onto the battlefield. And the Trumpeting Gnar, a 3/3 beast for 1 generic, 1 green, and 1 blue mana with a mutate cost of 3 generic and 2 of either green or blue mana. Whenever this creature mutates, create a 3/3 green beast creature token, representing the vocal nature of some of the beasts in Zagoth who reliably answer their species call. And while Zagoth is dominated by beasts, it's certainly not the only type of creature you'll find here. Some nightmares, for example, have come to call these swamps their home, namely the Zagoth Mamba, a 1/1 nightmare snake for a single black mana. Whenever this creature mutates, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Elementals have too grown strong connections to the mushroom forest throughout Zagoth, such as the Fertilids, 0/0 elementals for 2 generic and 1 green mana. Fertilid enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Pay 1 generic and a green mana, remove a 1/1 counter from Fertilid, target player searches their library for a basic land card and puts it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffles their library. They help spread the growth of the fungus forest by cultivating their spores to nearby regions of Zagoth. Yet the title of Apex in Zagoth goes to a creature who encompasses every aspect of this region itself. It's known as Brokkos, Apex of Forever. It's a 6/6 legendary nightmare beast elemental for 2 generic and Sultai colors, so 1 green, black, and blue mana. It has Mutate with a cost of 2 generic, a split of either 1 blue or black mana, and double green. You may cast Brokkos Apex of Forever from your graveyard using its Mutate ability. Brokkos Apex of Forever is a super interesting card because, unlike what we've seen from other creatures with Mutate, it doesn't necessarily give you a benefit the more you mutate it. Rather, it's a card that, as the title suggests, is always available to mutate if you need it. It essentially reads that you'll always have a body to mutate below or on top of, so long that it's in your graveyard and not exiled, which gives mutate decks some insurance if they just lost 3 or more creatures to a single removal spell. As the Apex of Forever suggests, Brokkos is believed to be the oldest living Apex monster on Ikoria. While the other Apexes are indeed ancient, Brokkos predates even them. Time to Brokkos seems to move much more slowly, with simple actions like breathing taking hours rather than just mere moments. Its relationship with time also extends to how unstoppable this monster appears to be. Though it marches slowly, once a path is chosen, nothing can stop Brokkos. Human cities, deep trenches, thick forests, all will break away before this titan's massive form. Brokkos doesn't typically show any signs of aggression. However, that doesn't mean it's any less dangerous should you find your way in its path. We can see that while Brokkos is mostly gentle, it will still defend itself from challengers as seen on Charge of the Forever Beast, a sorcery for 2 generic and 1 green mana. As an additional cost, reveal a creature card from your hand. Charge of the Forever Beast deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the revealed card's power. In fact, these bouts seem to be to the benefit of Zagoth's environment. Quote, "The Zagoth wetlands are fertilized by centuries of Brokkos' former challengers." End quote. Like all of the Apex monsters, Brokkos Apex of Forever has its own myths and legends about it. From Riel the Everwise, keeper of Ikoria's monster tales, it's believed that Brokkos' movements usher in the changing of the seasons. Where this monster goes, the seasons follow, is the belief. However, an even older tale speaks of a human's first encounter with Brokkos, a hunter who tried to slay the mighty Apex monster. However, Brokkos didn't fight back against the woman, rather leaving her with 2 gifts to aid in the development of the human species. One was a vision of the past, so that she could learn from her mistakes, and the other was a vision of tomorrow, so that she could lead her people forward. It is unknown who this mysterious woman may have been from the tale, but many believe it is Riel herself, explaining how she came about her various stories and tales. Quote, "The most unexpected weapon a monster can wield is kindness." End quote. The mythos of Brokkos itself is a sorcery for 2 generic and double green. Return up to 2 permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. If blue and black was spent to cast this spell, search your library for a card, put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. So if you're able to pay the wedge cost of Brokkos in this spell, you get to hand select a card from your library to basically put into your graveyard and then directly into your hand. Vivian Reed, the great planeswalking ecologist, once wrote in her field notes about Brokkos Apex of Forever. Quote, "Brokkos travels through the wetland forests of Zagoth. I was told it hibernates under a swamp for weeks at a time, and I just observed it rising from the depths. Riel believes Brokkos has been around since the dawn of the world. Good morning, old one." End quote. Ikoria is truly a world of unique wonders, but sometimes you don't need to mess with a classic if it works, and Beasts in Ikoria Lair of Behemoths is a great example of that. But let me know what you think about Beasts, Zagoth, and Brokkos, the Apex of Forever, in the comment section below. Leaving your thoughts as a comment is a great way to help support the channel. You can also support the channel by leaving this video a like, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next installment of this series. Don't forget to catch our previous video linked in the description or tagged at the end of the video so you can keep up with all the sweet Ikoria lore. As always guys, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, see ya!